Hey guys, Jason Nickel here. Awesome new feature we just released, integrated skip tracing into the system. So I wanted to walk you through a quick process on how to do that. This is a list I just downloaded from Find Motivated Sellers, Kin Software. What I always do is I open up, this is, vacant houses. So what I'll do is I'll just open up the file and clean it up before I upload, just because it makes it easier to map everything out. So I'm getting rid of stuff like square foot price, date of transfer, beds and baths, owner ID. Let's get rid of all this stuff because we don't need it. What we want is the property address, city, state, and zip. We don't care about the county, so I'll delete that out. The name, this is a full name. For some reason, Kent still doesn't, he doesn't have the software break it up to first and last, so we'll upload it with the full name. Option that we have. I'm going to delete these phones because they're always trash. And then mail, city, state, zip. So our file's ready here. I'm going to go ahead and just save it. And we're going to come back over here to the skip trace file or tab on the site here. So this is the bottom tab on the site. You can see I've been running this for a while. We've done lots of skip traces and we've saved a lot of money here because I'm going to throw every file or every record I want to up against my existing database, and I'm not going to get charged for it if it sees that we already own that data. Also not charging for anything but hits. So let's say you get a really poor hit rate. We had a bad one here at 67%. I am not getting charged for all those misses, unlike a lot of other services out there. So this is pretty cool. Let's just go ahead and go through this here. So we'll hit the new skip trace button and we'll browse to our file. I know mine's was in the download section. Let's see here, sort by date, and it's right here. We'll go over. You can only have 20 columns in your file as well, which is another good reason to clean it up. We've got a header row, so we'll go ahead and leave that in there, and we're going to start to map it. So site address, that's the property address. Site city, property city. State, zip. Now we've got full name. And I'll tell you right now, if you can break them out into first and last name, you're going to get better results. So I'm just showing you this to you guys for the sake of explanation, just showing you how this thing works. But I'm telling you right now, if you can break them out into first and last name, you're always going to get better results. So there's the full name. We've got the mailing address, city, state, and zip. And then what I want you guys to get in the habit of doing is to go back through and look at it at least one more time and make sure you got it mapped correctly. Because if you transpose property address with the site address, or I'm sorry, the property address with a mailing address, you're going to have problems. Mailing address is the number one thing that is really going to help you get to the right person. So first and last name broken out, along with mailing address mapped correctly, you're going to have very good results. If you transpose this mapping in any way, you're going to have poor results. The good thing is we don't charge you for non-hits, so you can always run it again if you realize you've made a mistake, and the system will get you those correct hits. So I'm going back and I'm just making sure site address is property address, property city, property state, property zip, full name. I wish that I had this broken out, but I don't. So I'm just going to go with it. We'll see what happens. Mail and address, broken out, that is, into first and last name. Mail and address, matching up, city, state, and zip. All right, looks good. Let's go ahead and head on over. It's going to give you an estimate of what it thinks it might cost. And it's going to authorize then at this point, it's going to authorize on your card to make sure that your card has enough room on it to make this charge. You're going to see an authorization come through. That's not an actual charge, it's just a temporary hold. Once the file is finished processing, then we know exactly how much to charge you, and that's the charge that will come through and stick. Remember, all your skip trace requests are final. There's nothing we can do if you mess it up and you want us to stop a big process in the middle of the file. There's nothing that we can do because it's non-refundable for us, so it has to be non-refundable for you guys. So make sure that your files are set up properly to begin with. Double check everything and then go ahead and click that purchase button. So we've purchased it, and now you can just watch it process here. The cool thing here is, you can see how many rows you've got, how many existing matches in your database, how much you're actually saving because you're not buying data you've already owned. I'm guessing most of these people are already going to be in my database here. Our hit percentage is lower, and I'm guessing the reason for that is why? It's because we had the full name and not the first and last name broken out. But we'll see where it ends up at. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter too much. I think the data is really, really good. I know it is because we've been using it for a long time now. So just have fun with this thing, and then when you're done, you can either export it out or you can push it into a campaign. If you want to push it into a new campaign, you're going to need for right now, you're going to need to create that campaign first, so it's available when you're ready to push it. Or you can push it into any existing campaign. There's a little drop-down menu I can show you here. So let's say you want to push it into a campaign. You can select from all the different campaigns you have and push it in there. And you can either include all the prospects or just the new ones that have come up. If you're going to just push over new ones, you might be pushing over into a campaign where you already know that the prospects that have been matched up that are in your existing database, you already know they're already in there, so there's no reason to push them over again. You can, it doesn't hurt anything because there's a process in place to prevent duplicates. If you just want to be safe, just push them all over, but it's going to take a little bit longer. Or just include the new one. So that's the way that SkipTrace works. We're hitting at 90% now, so not too bad. You don't also need to take out LLCs or trusts because we're not charging you for non-hits. So we occasionally see phone numbers come back for owner types that are entities. So keep them in there and just see what happens. All right, guys, thanks. Have fun.